Hello, TradingView community. Welcome to my new analysis about NVIDIA. And within NVIDIA, there happened some really determining factors that could change the whole interface of NVIDIA into a heavily bearishly inclined determination to the downside, with huge supply shocks entering the market and moving the price action towards the bearish side and show up with huge declines within the price action. And in this case, I have spotted the major underlying factors that are actually causing this bearish underlying indication. And this is why Nvidia could set up a major drop to the downside over minus 30% to the downside. And these are some really crucial developments that should not be underestimated in any cases here. And when looking at the structure, firstly, Nvidia now pull it back into these levels here. And this was already a bearish rejection. Nvidia did not manage it to hold the 477 area. And this was actually a case from where Nvidia actually pulled it back below these supports. Normally, it should have held above these supports, building up above these supports and moving further into this direction. And this is what did not happen it now. And this is why this is such a crucial development here. Nvidia pull it back bearishly into these structures. And this is a really, really crucial development that should not be underestimated, because there are also other underlying factors currently within the whole market interface. There are underlying factors, and it has to be mentioned that Nvidia is one of the biggest manufacturing suppliers of manufacturing microchips, semiconductors. And in the recent times, there could be a new shortage within the semiconductor manufacturing, and this is why such a shortage within the semiconductor manufacturing could set up a huge bearish decline, especially when this happens overnight. This could set up a major bearish decline into the lower directions, because there's also the new COVID-19 variant, call it Iris. And this COVID-19 variant, call it Iris, according to official sources, you know what official means today, is a highly sensitive development, because within the corona crisis, within the COVID-19 crisis beginning in May 2020, the prices have experienced massive shocks to the downside, with huge declines to the downside. And currently, there's a new variant, call it Iris, that already raised the hospital activity by over 40%. And what this now means for Nvidia is that when this dynamic holds on, this could lead to the next major semiconductor manufacturing shortage, with huge supply chain disruptions and a major decline to the downside, especially also looking at other factors within the market. And now, within this whole price action, with Nvidia is still building up here above this ascending trend line. However, the range is getting more and more tight here. The range is getting really, really tight here. And this means so often Nvidia actually bounces into this ascending trend line, the higher the possibility breakout once a breakdown to the downside has set up with the breakdown to the downsides. And this is why Nvidia can also complete this major ascending triangle formation. And such a ascending triangle formation is almost inevitably leading to a major breakdown to the downside once it has been completed. And as NVIDIA now broke the important supports of 477, this possibility setup gets more and more likely day by day, especially once a new semiconductor shortage should show up within the market. This could exponentially raise the bearish possibility scenario to heights that Nvidia did not see before, and especially once this ascending trend line has been broken to the downside, with Nvidia actually breaking down below these important levels here and trading below the 477 area, especially with the signal of a major shortage coming into the market. This will trigger a lot of long positions down the line. Many long positions will be triggered once this major shortage is showing up, especially together with the price action that is likely to accelerate into a heavily bearish dynamic. And in this case, Nvidia is going to continue with the bearish developments once major supports have been found from where Nvidia actually has the ability to reverse within the structure. And in this case, the final target zone of this whole structure will be within the 300 to 280 level. This will be a really important target zone for Nvidia because this could actually be a important support from where it could hold on and could show up with a reversal within this whole structure. Therefore, these are some really crucial developments, especially once Nvidia is showing up with these heavy declines here within this whole structure, which are currently likely as this major semiconductor microchip manufacturing producer supply chain disruption is setting up. This is a really realistic scenario currently setting up here for NVIDIA. And therefore, once this has shown up, it will be highly important how NVIDIA actually continues from there on. Because if this shortage should be so high that more than 80% of the microchip semiconductor production is setting to the downside, then there's also the major possibility given that Nvidia just continues into the bearish direction and shows up with the major bearish decline into the bearish direction further. However, when this does not happen and Nvidia actually has the ability to hold within these supports here within this whole structure, and the major shortages within the market are not that severe, and Nvidia could show up with some important developments here within this whole structure in which it actually will activate the major supports within this whole development, especially reversing the whole semiconductor manufacturing, production, supply shortage developments. Then there's also the possibility that actually from here on, Nvidia shows up with a stabilization within this area from where it could reach and retest previous levels within this whole structure. And once these bearish developments have shown up, this does not mean Nvidia is completely bearish forever. There's also the possibility that from here on, Nvidia actually shows up with the possibility of a reversal from where it retests the previous levels. Therefore, these are the three main factors to watch out with in the next times, as Nvidia has broken down below these ever so crucial supports here. The first factor is the manufacturing microchip semiconductor shock that is likely to set up. The second factor is the completion of this gigantic ascending triangle formation, which is in almost all cases a bearish indication. And the third factor is how the bearish indication set up and how a long position squeeze triggering to the downside is actually setting up, with what momentum it is setting up. This can lead to further important indications down the line that I am going to analyze and that I am going to re-estimate within the data dashboard to show up with further appropriate determinations on where this war dynamic heads, especially when positioning oneself on the right side of the market. This is highly necessary to consider a total return approach within the market, to pick the stocks that have a short side potential and others that have long side potentials. With this being said, bye bye.